to Zoom. And by the time everybody pops in, we'll be good. Let's share screen. All right. Um, where is it? PowerPoint. I want this to be in view, reading view. Outstanding. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to Zoom so we can share screen. And it can be a beautiful evolution. Let's do it. Greetings all. God bless everybody. It is early today. It is early. That's all right. There's a lot going on in the world. Greetings to everybody that's here. Let me go ahead and check YouTube and tell everybody hello all. Greetings all. God bless everybody. Thank you kindly for your time. Make sure you can hear me. Yes, it's up. Thank you for your time and for coming. We do have some beautiful things to talk about today. I will not take up too much of your time. Let's give it a minute while everybody's coming in. It is 6:01. Do try to be punctual. Hope everybody's well. Had a good time at church and amongst other things. All right. What up, though? I know it's a little bit of a lag to everybody on YouTube, but God bless y'all. Greetings to all. That's right. Number one, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and hit this video when it's done. Share it with whoever you feel it would be beneficial to, right? Or a blessing to. If not, I guess you'll keep it to yourself. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me make sure you all can see my screen. Let me go back in the Zoom. And we're going to move forward. Okay. For Zoom. All right. What's happening? I'm sharing my screen. Let's go. All right, everybody. Welcome everyone to Nonprofits 101. This is only some of the information, but today you're going to have a greater understanding about what a nonprofit is, who would need one, how you can work with one individually, right? So personally or as a business. All right. So that's what we're going over today. I'm even going to tell you how you could do it. It does differ by state, meaning um, just how many people you need on your board of directors, right? So we'll get to that. So today we're building purpose with impact, right? What are nonprofits, why they matter, and how you can be involved. Okay. So we want to tell you this today personally and professionally. So before we do anything, of course, we're going to start with prayer. So everybody get ready for that. Okay. Go ahead and bow your heads, close your eyes, meditate, whatever you need to do. Okay. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together again today. We thank you for the opportunity to come before you and before those that will see this on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere. And we hope that it can help them, right? We ask for internal and mental healing, right? So that's for clarity, for peace of mind, peace of spirit, and the strength to walk in purpose or whatever it is that you have for us to do. Um, Heal us from all things. Heal us from past disappointments. Heal us from misuse of resources. Heal us from self-doubt and heal our bodies and make us whole in every aspect, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Fill us with vision, wisdom, and compassion to serve others through the work we build today, tomorrow, and in the future, right? And as we know, the future is now. It is so in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. And we're back. Let's go ahead and see. Now, let me ask you all this. When you hear the word nonprofit, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Go ahead and think about it. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Ooh, let me see. A lot of people, when they hear nonprofit, they think of something being free. Hey, man, I know YouTube catching up. Most people, when they hear nonprofit, they think of something free, right? Volunteering. It could be or mean a lot to you. When people hear nonprofit, A lot of people think that when they hear nonprofit, it's what it sounds like, no profit, and they think that it's broke or just, you know what I mean? All charity is not bad charity. I'm gonna tell you that now. Okay, money donations, yes, donations, right? So it can be donations in time, in kind, uh, in service. It could be in anything you want it to be. So yes, that's very good. Money donations. So we're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna tell you exactly some other things of what it is. We're gonna break down some of these misconceptions today, but it's true. Nonprofits definitely need donations. All right. So what is a nonprofit? A nonprofit is not about profit, hence the word nonprofit. But it's about purpose. So instead of distributing profits to owners, right? Nonprofits reinvest into their mission. So before we get there, let's go with this. A nonprofit is created for a mission, right? You're not there to get rich and scam people. Nonprofits are public entities. You understand? So anything you do that you have to have record of, which is everything, it is on public display. Did you all know you can go look up nonprofits and see revenue, what they did with it, how is yes. That's why people love to give to nonprofits. We're going to talk about the benefits and advantages and things like that today. But that's what it's for. It's for community. All right. Any leftover money or anything that they raise or donate or charity, that's reinvested back into other programs. That's why you have to have a mission for a nonprofit. So there are different types of nonprofits, right? So you have charitable nonprofits, educational, religious, advocacy groups. Could be any of those. You've all have heard of United Way, Red Cross, Habitat for Humanity, um, Boxable, like all these different places that use you probably may be a part of a local nonprofit or something like that now. If not, I encourage you to invest your time and energy and passion into something that you like. Whatever you love and you can't stop talking about, that's what you have a passion for. Whatever you love to do and you don't get paid for it, that's what you love to do. All right. Your checkbook, your credit card statements, it'll tell me what you love to do. Okay. So whether there's food, whether there's giving to somebody, whatever it is, your Instagram will let me know everything that you're about. Okay. All right. So if you at Chuck E. Cheese every Friday, it's clear to say you love some Chuck E. Cheese. All right. If you go to church faithfully every Sunday, okay, good. You love God. But, you know, if you spend your time with nonprofits or different people, if you're going to, what would we say we call it? Like different engagements of different sessions, different networking events, um, different courses, educational or grant writing or something like that. Clearly, you're about networking and you're doing things in the community, right? You want to better yourself. Just like if I looked at you and you were looking at something about wisdom or finances, whatever you're doing is going to tell me what you love. I don't even have to ask. You don't even much have to say it. But if I'm looking in and can observe, it will show me. Okay. So a nonprofit is created for a mission, not because you feel like it and just want to, lollygag and play with it. It's for a mission, not a profit. It doesn't mean that we don't have money flowing in because you will. And I'll explain that later, but it's for a mission, not a profit. For that, you just need to go create a S Corp, LLC, or something like that. Okay. That's what you can do. So, oh, and before I go to this next slide, let me tell you some examples, right? So a good example would be a local food pantry collects donations and uses every extra dollar to buy more food for families, right? So that's a good example. A food pantry, most of those are nonprofit. Not all. Some churches have them and they're under 501(c)(3) too. Okay, which is the nonprofit tax exemption code. Um, so if you're out giving food and doing all this stuff, then yeah, that will make sense. Whatever's left over, okay, do it again. If you have a surplus, give it out. It's not for you to keep, it's not for you to hoard and go sell. So that's a good example. Here's a bad example. A group sets up a nonprofit but spends most of the money on luxury retreats for board members. This is a misuse. And if they find out, somebody going to jail. Okay? Remember, you don't have to get caught red-handed doing half of this stuff. If you don't have a paper trail, if you don't have receipts, if you don't have contracts, it didn't happen. If it's in black and white and you misuse it, what you misuse, you lose. But playing with the IRS and the FBI, that's a mistake on your part. Telling you right now. Um, so that'll break trust within the community if you misuse funds. And I keep telling everybody, a nonprofit is what? Public record. They can go look this up. If you're applying for grants, it's public record. A lot of times when you apply for grants, and let's say you are awarded a grant, you have to have paperwork filled out detailing what you did. They want receipts. You will show records. You don't just get to get money from the government and go run off and think it's free money. So whoever going on luxury retreats, however you try to dress it up, somebody gonna be Timmy telling. It's never the IRS come looking and having to do all this. You living the high life on social media, Instagram. You know what I mean? Y'all balling over there in St. Lucia. If this came from funds that was supposed to go to your this nonprofit, misappropriation of funds, and you're just using it to do whatever you feel like doing, yeah. Somebody gonna drop a dime on you, eating a banana at the same time, and you're going to jail. That ain't what you want to do. Okay? This is why we go through these things so I can tell you. Now, since I just brought that up, what is a 501c3? Okay? A 501c3 is the IRS designation for charitable, educational, or religious nonprofits. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, I would just start a 508. They want to do different things for trust and other charitable or foundations. We can say that. We'll talk about that another time. Right now, we're talking about regular nonprofits, 501c3. Okay? Because when people start trying to think they slick and, oh, do it this way and set it up that way, and that's why you have 17 different items. But right now, I don't want to go off on a tangent. Let's just pay attention. 501c3. All right? That's the paperwork you have to file for this. I'm getting ready to tell you about is so that you can have your tax exemption status, which is what? A 501c3. Okay? For charitable, educational, religious, or scientific nonprofits. Federal tax exempt status. Okay? So there's no tax. When you go into the store, when you're doing certain things, there will be no tax. That's why people want it. Okay? You need this for eligibility for grants and tax deductible donations. Can you receive grants without this status of a 501c3? Yes, you can. You can. Um, but you miss out on a lot of other opportunities. So do you have to have it? No. Do I recommend it? Yes, indeed. Because some of them tell you without a letter or with a letter. If you've had, if you're on a nonprofit and it's been 3 years, why don't you have a letter? What are you doing? Be legit. Okay. So some other examples are Goodwill, Salvation Army, and community foundations. Okay. So that's great. So a good example would be a community foundation set up scholarships and receive grants because of their 501c3 status. To work with the government, um, eventually you will need a 501c3 status. A lot of banks want to see that. You stop yourself short of funding and other opportunities if you don't get it. Like, wouldn't you want to be tax exempt status? But okay, here's a bad example. Someone claims to be a nonprofit but never files with the IRS. So donations that are made are not tax deductible, and they lose credibility. I mean, who want to work with somebody who's not credible? If you say that you're a 501c3, then why wouldn't you have that? Not Chucky. Yeah, it is Chucky. Uh, you know what I mean? Like that's like somebody saying they have an LLC in the business. Okay, and then you want to go into do a contract or something with them, and their LLC is not up to par, or it's not in compliance standards, or they don't have the paperwork for it. What? So how are you a company? Just don't do that to yourself. If you ever a part of a nonprofit, they should have a 501(c)(3) status. If they don't, unless they're brand new, somebody's playing. Okay, somebody needs to file the paperwork and pay the fee. You know, it costs to be the boss. So pay the fee and go on. Right? If you're brand new, 275 in the state of Georgia. If you paying somebody else to do it for you, it's like 1,000 plus. With the help you have online with Chat GPT, Dale, Kale, Scott, and Brenda, whoever else they got out right now, um, with artificial intelligence, you should be just fine. You shouldn't be having none of these problems, okay? Don't be lazy. So do that. Our nonprofit kingdom rooted communities just got into SAMS.gov, and that was some work. So, to God be the glory for that, right? It happens. Anyway, let's keep pushing. Who owns a nonprofit? That's right. I know y'all been waiting for this one. That's right. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody. But let's get into it so you can understand. No one owns a nonprofit. So when people say, "Oh, it's my nonprofit," your business, whether it's member managed or you manage it or another business manages, however you want to do it, that's fine. But when it comes down to a nonprofit, you don't own it. As an individual, you don't own it. You have a board of directors, right? We get ready to get into it. So a board of director governs the mission, right? So you got it, whether you want to call it an executive director, a president, a vice president, a CEO, ABC 1, 2, 3, whatever Michael Jackson was talking about, whoever you want to call it. In the state of Georgia, you need at least three. You may be in a state where they might, in a lot of states, sometimes they want five. We definitely got five. But a lot of states want three at a minimum. Every now and again, you may get through with less than that. It's gonna be hard in the yard for you, okay? So nobody owns a nonprofit outright. It's governed by a board of directors with at least three. All right. Um, and if it's ever dissolved, all assets go to another nonprofit, not the founders. So it don't matter who founded it and who thought of it. That's great. If it's ever dissolved, you will never be in court fighting over this is mine. Those are my lawn chairs. Guess what? You got to go find United Way to give it away because you're not going to get it personally. All right. So it's just, you got to get over that. There's no fighting involved in that. That's why in a nonprofit, you vote. That's right. We get ready to get into some things, but let me give you some examples. Okay. A good example is a founder steps aside after 10 years and the board smoothly continues the mission. Meaning, if I'm on a nonprofit and I'm the president, you know what I mean? Brenda's the vice president and Susie's the secretary. If I'm stepping down because I got something else to do, or somebody else need to come run this, okay, because I done gave y'all a whole decade, then you vote the next person in power. Be very careful. A lot of people and families want to do this. Let me go ahead and bring this up for you now. Yes, yes, yes. I gotta go ahead and tell you. When it comes down to, they say, oh, we're gonna make a family nonprofit. Well, you can't make a whole nonprofit with all your family members. And I know a lot of people say, well, you could if we have different last names, you can. If you ever go to court and y'all get to fighting about something and they find out that y'all did this, first of all, fines and penalties. Second of all, you sign all this paperwork while you're doing this documentation to create nonprofits that asked you, are you, kin to a certain percentage of people? Okay. That's something for you to think about. All right. And then when Bobby get mad at Susie and they want to vote you off the board, they can because they have the majority. So if you make it with some family and some friends, and all of a sudden you become the black sheep or something, they can vote you up out of there, buddy. And I don't care if you're the president or whoever you want to be, it ain't gonna work. So this is why I say you want to get different people, do it so it's mission oriented, not personal. You don't own it, so it don't matter what you go do in court. You don't own it. You might well just calm down and do things right legally the first time around, and you don't have to worry about this. Okay? Okay. Because I like to tell the people the truth. Now, Let's keep going. I just wanted y'all to know that because when people, oh, this is my nonprofit, you say what? Oh no, you confused already. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't own this. Mm-mm. And the more people you get in and put on your board and do whatever, a nonprofit is meant for a mission. You don't have to be, you know what I'm saying, the chief today. Go on over there and be regular and do some work. It's okay to swap things around. Maybe somebody the president this time, they the secretary next time, the treasurer next time. Hey, get a feel for it so you know what you're dealing with. Okay? Now here's a bad example. I mean, it's kind of bad what I just told you, but a founder treats the nonprofit like their personal business, paying family members without accountability. This often leads to IRS penalties. I just told you certain things you can't be doing with family. It doesn't mean a family member. Yes, one or two, you're fine. More than that, we got problems because now you're misusing it. Okay. So think about that. Or don't put them on the board of directors, like, duh. But think about some of this. All right. But it can lead to penalties and problems down the road. So don't say I didn't tell you. Now, here we go to the good part. We don't have much left. Why start a nonprofit? What's the benefit of starting a nonprofit? And let me tell you, everybody doesn't need to start a nonprofit. I would highly discourage it because guaranteed there's some other nonprofit that you can probably be a part of and do. So I will tell you some reasons why you can and should do it, but it's no need of everybody just having a nonprofit. Like that's it's just wild business. Okay. If you're making money like that for taxes and status and things like that, yeah, let's do it. But if not, all right now. All right. Just, think about it. So people start nonprofits to solve problems, build legacy, and leave impact. If you're not going to start a nonprofit to solve a problem, then you are the problem. Don't do it. That's right. A community problem, housing, widows, orphans, uh, food, whatever, I don't know, transportation, whatever you could be going through, that's a community problem that not only you're having, a lot of people are having it. Maybe that's the reason to start, but it's a problem you need to solve and it's for community benefit. Okay. Not Nene and Quisha, community benefit. So, and you want to build credibility by one, having a legitimate nonprofit, two, being on time, being punctual, having your 501(c)(3) status, uh, working in the community, a good name, a good brand for yourself, things like that, right? This is how you build legacy and generational impact. How do you impact somebody and you're not doing something? So don't waste time. Don't waste your energy. All right. You don't have to go starting from the ground. If you know somebody that already got one and you want to work with them, yes. Nonprofit need volunteers all the time. Get out there and get your name in there. They can help you out. Eventually work your way on up to the board. That's right. They'll give you an invitation. Okay. If you ever want to do something different in life, outwork somebody. There's plenty of lazy people around you. Okay. So some examples would be uh, a youth mentoring program. Isn't that great? Well, in the great state of Tennessee, it's a lot of children who are behind with reading comprehension and math. If you want to start some mentoring programs and you want to do some tutoring programs, it's a lot of angry children around. Okay, a lot of people's parents have been, you know, taken away from the earth. I can't say certain stuff on YouTube, okay, but they somewhere. Some of them in heaven and some of them other places. I'm just letting you know you might want to work with these. Some people have had children that, to depart for gun violence. Yes, you might want to work with them. Spousal abuse. Okay, we can go on all day. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, handicapped people, special needs. Yes, God special people. That okay. That's working with grandma and them. Yeah, 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 yeah. Something like that that's gonna help the community. You know they can't drive it good. They can barely see driving down Tunnel Boulevard and everywhere else. You might want to start some transportation service to help them out. Yeah, yeah, because you don't want nothing to happen to them. This is what I'm saying. So things like that. All right. So a good example would be what I just told you, the mentoring business, right, for teens. I want to say my niece is a part of something like that, but shout out to them. We're gonna showcase them one day. And they help young girls feel good about themselves. They help them with college and just different things, mentoring them, networking with them. They get in and get to meet teenagers their age and talk and great things. Okay. Then here's a bad example. Well, actually, let me see. Here's another good example. A company creates a foundation, right? We'll talk about them later. They create a foundation to provide scholarships. So if you have a company that's a, S Corp, C Corp, whoever, and they bringing in this type of money as a tax deduction, what do? They take their money and create a foundation. Let's just say, the Fitch Foundation, FITCH, in case that came out weird, foundation, right? If I wanted to do something in memory and in honor of my sister Brittany, all right, platinum, you hear me? I might go around out and give out platinum scholarships to the kids. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm making this kind of money in a business, I can give out a $10,000 scholarship that will lower my tax, what I'm taxed on my taxes. So yes, a lot of people will create foundations and nonprofits for things like that. That makes sense. So think about it that way. Okay. Now let's talk about when to utilize a nonprofit. Let me look on here, make sure I ain't seen nothing. Okay. When to utilize a nonprofit. All right. You should utilize a nonprofit when the mission is more important than a profit. I keep saying that and I'll keep saying it now. Anytime you want to be a part of a nonprofit or you want to create and start a nonprofit, it needs to be about the mission, not the profit. All right. Are you going to do it or not? If you're going to donate, you need to donate. But I'm just saying some of the things you need to do. Okay. So be thinking about that. So mission driven ideas, not personal. I'm going to do this because I'm going to get rich. You need to go on somewhere else with that. This needs to be mission driven. Things that you would do even if it was for free. Yes. Okay. Um, you utilize a nonprofit when you want to access grants. That's right. Tax benefits and volunteers, because you're always going to need that. A lot of people are more willing to give, especially when they know it's tax incentives behind it. That's right. Especially businesses. What? They give you all kind of money. They looking for money to give to people each year, especially for a nonprofit, because they know they're gonna get a tax write-off for it. Oh, it's a beautiful evolution, right? Utilize a nonprofit when transparency and accountability are important. So receipts, okay, good track record. You're accountable. Whatever you say is true. They can see it. Tangible assets. These type of things need to take place. Okay. Um, Customer service relationships, right? CSR partnerships. Maybe you housing widows, as I said, right? Um, a personal example would be creating a housing program for widows. You got a problem, somebody got to do it. So you need to do it. A lot of people go around praying all day long with no impact. What are you doing with what's in your hand? I'm not telling you everybody need to have a nonprofit, but there's a solution to every problem. And it just boils down to, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? Up to you. All right. A business example would be a corporation partners with a nonprofit to run a food distribution drive. If you ever notice, it's a lot of church drives that they partner with other people, Salvation Army and everybody, to go out there and feed people, back to school events. Um, I don't know, housing the homeless, tents. It don't matter. You can scratch if you feel like it. They have these different things. If somebody says they have a nonprofit, they should be giving in some type of way. Okay, that's right. Platinum, silver teeth, and all. One time for Brittany, because I got that coming for her, but it's another discussion. Um, these things that we got to think about. All right. So let's keep going. I think I got 11 slides. Anyway, we on slide 8. Let's go. Working with a nonprofit as an individual is what I try to tell people. You do not have to go create a nonprofit. That's nonsense. Okay. But as an individual, if you want to work with a nonprofit, personally, you can. You don't have to have a business, and all this other stuff. No, nursing homes and different places, they need people to volunteer their time and skills. Sometimes schools need them, people to come up there and read to the kids. Didn't you just hear me say in Tennessee, a lot of them can't read? No disrespect. Well, and some of them can read, but they can't comprehend. Reading comprehension is at an all-time low. Okay. These people been on TikTok all day and suffering from ADD or ADHD, and they hyped up on Mountain Dew chip. I don't know, but it's a lot of problems going on. You can help them read the and a, help these children, pronounce some things and learn how to read like they did us when we was younger. So something to think about. Donate your funds or resources. Why? Because it's tax deductible. Okay. That means if you have money, you can give it. If you have clothes, you can give it. All that's tax deductible. Okay. Y'all, you know how sometimes you be on the mountain in different places, you see people having, what is it, yard sales and stuff like that. Great. Okay. Or take it down somewhere where you get goodwill or whoever, and it can be tax deductible. So whether it's your time, your skills, you want to give out free haircuts, uh, go down there and paint the kid's face, teach them how to read, donate some computers, serve on a board, um, let people use, maybe you own 18-wheeler trucks. Let them use some of your trucks for food drives. Maybe you have some vans, you go pick up some turkeys from 'em for Thanksgiving. Whatever it is, they can use it and it's tax deductible. Okay. So that's something to think about. Good example. Donating laptops to a school. Wonderful. Okay. It looks good on you and the company and whoever sponsored you. Wonderful. Bad example. Volunteering for a personal volunteering for personal recognition only without caring about the mission. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care who you go out there and volunteer for. Come on out here and do what you're supposed to do. If you come, you can be used. That's all I know. All right. So God bless all your efforts, and hopefully you're there for the right reason. But if not, you're down there. So I can only think of good reasons. So there's that. All right. Working with a nonprofit as a business. Yes, this is very important. Businesses can support nonprofits through sponsorships, donations, or employee volunteering. Okay. So if you work for kingdom rooted networks and you want to go volunteer for kingdom rooted communities, yes, that counts, right? A lot of people for schools, for scholarships and grants and stuff, and they need to see you volunteering, come get some volunteer hours. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good for you, especially young children. They need to be out there. Um, it builds your networking capabilities. You'll meet new people. It'll expand your mind. It's a beautiful experience. Okay. Um, Sponsorships. A lot of times when you're having something, if people want to donate, like if I'm building the Great Wall of the Kingdom, right, and people want to put their names outside on the bricks or something, companies may want to have their company name out there or something, and they'll sponsor it. Okay, well, for 6 months you can be out front for this price. You know what I'm saying? Or like when people go to games or boxing events and stuff, and somebody sponsored them. Okay, well, somebody had to do it. Nice tax deduction. Come on now. And you get to be seen. And it looks good for your business. It looks good for your company. Okay. So Coca-Cola, they do a lot of stuff. They give back a lot, especially to Africa. Microsoft, they give out a lot of computers. They want to work with people. They need the nonprofits to do it. They've taken in $1 zillion a year. Go get it for the nonprofit in the name of the nonprofit and do the right thing and take it to these less fortunate or less privileged or just the kids who need it, however you want to say it, right? Or to grandmama them, they might want to donate some lumber or something. Help go build these people a house. Go plant some gardens. Go do something that you're supposed to be doing, whatever it is. Okay. So by sponsorships, donations, or even employees volunteering. Okay. Great. Now here's a good example. Starbucks partners with nonprofits to do community cleanups. So they're gonna give you a certain amount of money, and they might send some people from their company out there to volunteer to come on out there and uh do some community challenge, whether it's building a house, picking up some trash, whatever. They gonna do it. Okay, that's a good example. Here's a bad example. A business partners with a nonprofit only to dodge taxes with no commitment to the cause. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't necessarily think that's bad. I sure don't. Mm-mm. I don't care. We want you to care, but a lot of people don't have the time or the capacity. I would rather you give your money and not come waste my time with a bad attitude or you not wanting to do it. That wouldn't bother my company or no other company, no type of way. Because if you're doing it because you need to do it in a tax deduction, you still did it. It's still going to benefit somebody else. So regardless of how you feel and the reason you did it, you might not want nothing to do with it, but you got 87 desks. We'll send them right over. We know what to do with them. Well, I don't want to come out there, but I got $100,000 check. Good. Don't waste your time. We'll give you the paperwork that you need. Okay. And we'll let them know you did it and you sponsored it. The world's going to keep on revolving. I would hope that people would do stuff with a good heart. But if they don't want to come out there and they don't have the time, think about it. If these big CEOs and different people are not spending time with their kids, I don't expect them to come out there and come deal with somebody else's. That's not part of the game. All right. So just take your emotions out of it. Do what you got to do. All right. We're coming up towards the end. Um, oh, I think I skipped one. Anyway, I'll just tell you. A special note for LLCs and nonprofit board roles, right? Say you own an LLC and you sit on a nonprofit board. That's fine. They can work with each other because it's not you. It's two different entities working with each other. All right. So as long as you're doing and signing paperwork in the name of this business, in the name of this business, and it's a contract between both businesses, that's fine. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. So a good example would be if your LLC sponsors an event, writes a clear check to the nonprofit, and claims a tax deduction, your business can do that because it's business to business. It's not personal to person. All right. So business to business, you can do that. That's why you have two separate accounts, two different registrations. You're on two different entities. Is different, but they can work with each other. All right. A bad example would be you direct the nonprofit to hire your LLC without transparency. This could be a conflict of interest and even fraud. In that event, it would be fraud because if you're on a nonprofit, right? Because nobody owns it, but if you're on the board of a nonprofit, then guess what you're supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be having board meetings. People have to vote on these type of things, and the whole thing can't be your whole family. So you don't get to just say, "Hey, uh, tell Keisha to answer the phone. I got something for it." It doesn't work that way. It has to be documented, and if you're smart, you're going to record. Yes, yes, yes. And it's going to have to make sense. It needs to be involved in your mission. Your missions need to be similar, not just you making up something to give somebody some money because somebody going to go Timmy, Timmy telling, and it's going to be a bad day for you. All right. Now we're almost done. Let's go to tax advantages and benefits. What you all want to know. This is the best part of it. All right. This is the best part of it. Tax advantages and benefits. So nonprofits benefit both the donors, those that are giving, and businesses through tax deductions. Okay. So a personal example, donating $1,000 lowers your taxable income. So even if this is just for if you don't have a business and maybe each year, I'm going to tell y'all a play in a minute, but a good one. If you're every year, you say, I don't know, say you make it up, you make 80,000 a year. And each year they want you to pay back $3,000. Well, if you gave away $3,000 throughout the year, you don't owe a dime because you done gave away $3,000 to different nonprofits or either maybe one, and that lowered your taxable deduction. You don't owe Uncle Sam. So it's simple. Either you're gonna pay Uncle Sam or you're gonna go put this money somewhere else it need to be. A lot of churches will give you tax deductible stuff at the end of the year. That's up to you between you and God. There's nothing to do with me. But it does happen, right? Because most churches are 501(c)(3). Okay. Um, and I don't see nothing wrong with that, but that's up to you. Um, and I'm not telling you to do that either for that record. I'm just saying you do what you do. Okay. I don't know. It's between you and the maker. Um, a business example would be a grocery store donates food inventory and receives a tax deduction while feeding families. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful evolution there. Why would you let food go to waste? Somebody need it. And if a nonprofit has anything to do with a food bank, wouldn't you want to give them the food to get a tax deduction so they can give it to somebody else when it's fresh? Beautiful. That's how nonprofits are supposed to work. That's how it's supposed to benefit others and the advantages of benefiting you. Okay, so just think of that. So tax deduction plus goodwill. Beautiful. That's what you should be doing. Nothing should be going to waste. The world should be able to align itself and do what you got to do. But some people just don't know how to move. That's why I'll tell you strategy here. All right. So here's some things that most people don't know about nonprofits. Okay. Nonprofits can make money through sales, through programs and services. So, like, a lot of you all know the Goodwill. You can go in and go buy clothes and do stuff like that. That's a store. People come in and buy things at a cheaper rate, but you know, that's their way. If they're selling, if they having a food drive and they want to sell food or sell plates or have a restaurant operate out of there, they can, right? That's a service. Yeah, they can do sales. They can have a store if they have a garden and they want to grow that and sell it for produce. That sales, they can do it. If they want you to buy shirts or paraphernalia or whatever it is, coffee mugs and everything, they can do it. All right. Maybe you have programs and outreach programs. You could do that. So they can generate revenue. Don't ever think that. Nonprofits, unless it's brand new, they're not broke like that. It takes money to make it go, but it's a benefit of you to do it, right? They must file an IRS form 990 each year. We'll talk about this later another time. If you don't have a nonprofit, you don't have to worry about it. But this is public record. Remember, everything a nonprofit does is public record if they're a good one. You can look it up. Even when they've been granted government contracts, you can go look and see how much they were paid, the breakdown of it, the POAM, everything. You can go see the statement of work, everything. You can see it. Okay. And yes, staff salaries, they can pay staff competitive salaries. Just because you work for a nonprofit doesn't mean that everything is for free. Once you start getting money funded and things coming in, yes, you might need an HR person. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to run the company. People have to get paid. Everything's not free. It may start off that way, but eventually you can. All right. They can even own a business if aligned with a mission. You can have a nonprofit that owns a LLC or something else. Yes, because it's aligned, what I'm saying, with their mission. That makes sense. So many operate as multi-million-dollar organizations. So that's why when people say, "Oh no, there's no money in a nonprofit," who are you playing with? Where have you been at? Do you know what you're talking about? Because clearly you don't. And I know that because when you know better, you do better. But a lot of people, it's just a misconception because of the word nonprofit. Oh, but it's very profitable. Okay. Whether you're taking a salary there or whether you're working with them, whatever the case is, it's a benefit to you. All right. So a good example is Goodwill Industries operates thrift stores to fund job training. And they do. You come in a Goodwill and go buy stuff, that's funding job training. Wonderful. A bad example is a nonprofit hides revenue and pays under the table. I don't know who able to do it, but guarantee when they find out about you, you'll never open up another one. There's certain stuff you can't do, and it's public record. So if you think they can't audit your bank accounts and things like that, you'd be crazy. So, you know, I just wouldn't do that. And they find out about it. Guess what the IRS gonna do? Shut it down. You won't have another one. All right. So some do's and don'ts. Okay. Do always keep your finances clean, build a strong board, stay compliant. You want people on your board that are punctual, that are on time, come to the meetings, um, intelligent as well as emotionally intelligent, because this is the type of stuff you need to do. Okay. Some things you don't want to do. You don't want to misuse funds. You don't want to treat it like your piggy bank. You don't want to ignore IRS filings. And you don't want to mix nonprofit funds with personal accounts. There's never a need for anything to be mixed or misused within a nonprofit or LLC because everything should be separate. Your own bank account, own registration, It's not hard to stay in compliance. Remember, most stuff is due in October and in April. It's simple. You can do it. So simple a caveman can do it. So I know you can do it. All right. Here, I just put a checklist to start a nonprofit, right? Just the basics. Are there other things you can do? Yes, because certain states will tell you how many people you need to have um on your board, whether three, five, or whether they want more. That's up to you, right? But you need to have a mission. You need to have a vision before you do anything. Okay, what's the name of it? Who's worthy of being on this board? Who can help you bring this vision to pass? And two, does somebody else already have a nonprofit that answers everything I want? If so, if you can't beat them, join them. Go over there. All right. You register with your state. You can draft your bylaws and incorporation and organization documents. You apply for an EIN just like all the rest of them. File for your status, right? A lot of them, and like even in Georgia, you have to pay to even fundraise. So each state is different with all the things that they have. This is just the bare minimum basics here on this list, right? No matter what, you always want to open up a bank account. I would say 2 to 3. And in order for you to do everything you need, make sure your paperwork and administrative paperwork is correct and stay compliant at all times. Because if not, you only cause yourself problems, right? So now we're gonna go ahead and close. Every step matters for credibility when it comes to sustainability of a nonprofit or LLC. Every step matters. So don't try to skip the process and cheat the system because it's not going to work. All right. So I want to thank you all for your time. As we come to our closing, I'm just going to talk about our next steps and what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. All right. So let's do a nice little recap. Nonprofits are about mission, not ownership. You cannot own a nonprofit. All right. Um, they can be powerful tools for individuals and businesses, but only when used responsibly. All right. So you can't come in here just trying to do anything. The misconception that nonprofits are not, um, it's not a lot of money, it's no fun. No, total opposite. Why do you think so many people are trying to have them or that they do have them, right? Stay in compliance, keep your paperwork right, treat the people right, whether they're donating, sponsoring, it wouldn't matter. Good business is good business, okay? Um, so a reflection question for everybody would be, if you started a nonprofit tomorrow, what mission would you focus on? Think about that internally. What mission would you focus on? Do you know who you would help? Do you know how you would help? That's for you to think about. All right. Next time we'll talk about financing new fintech opportunities. All right, because all this old stuff is played out, going to Chase and everybody else. We're going to talk about fintech. We're going to talk about other opportunities for nonprofits, right? How modern technology and digital tools are changing the way nonprofits raise money and manage funds. So that's what we're going to talk about. The new age. We're getting ready to get into more finances, right? New fintech startups, um, cryptocurrency. The new world order is here. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. I'm going to give you all time that if you all got anything to say, um, you can tell me, but I just want to say thank you for your time. To God be the glory. God is light. God is love. If I didn't ever tell you anything else, let me go ahead and take this time. I'm gonna look on YouTube to see if you all got anything, and if you all have anything on Zoom, I'm gonna check too, just to let me know. But I do thank you for your time, for being punctual. Hey, I think we'll just keep it at 6. I got to go cook. I got some things we got to do, but I wanted to take the time out, and stay consistent. So everybody, let's stay prayed up. Let's stay on one accord and do what we got to do. And move forward, healthy and whole. And God knows that it is so. All right. It is written on a scroll. So be good people. Love and salute to everybody. I thank you for your time. All right. Let me check on Zoom. And oh, thank you. I will catch you all next time. But I do greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody good. All right.